DrBruno kanalına hoş geldiniz arkadaşlar. Bugün Sherlock Holmes Criminal's Punishment diye bir serisini oynayacağız. Bu sağ üstte koyacağım. Bundan sonraki oyunu oynadım ben. Şeytanın Kızı adlı bir oyunu vardı. Bu da ondan önceki olayı anlatıyor. Ondan önceki davalara falan anlatıyor. Ben biraz mekaniklerine falan baktım. O yüzden öyle şey diyor. Devam et falan diye. Hani ona aldanmayın. Neyse, isterseniz başlayalım. Rusça ağzına bakmayın. Her şey Türkçe. Konuşmaları hariç. Rock Virus Presidents. Sherlock Holmes, Dr. John Watson, Hudson, Minecraft Holmes, Begins ve oyunumuz başladı. Evet. Adam manyağı ne yapıyor?
Holmes, will you stop that? You are utterly mad.
Lan manyağı.
Stop, Holmes!
Is that you, Watson?
Yes, of course it is. And you almost killed me.
Nonsense. I was aiming for the vases.
Blindfolded?
Watson, quiet, please. I'm trying to concentrate. Ah, Lestrade. What is it this time?
He can see me. Well, here it is, and it's a good one, Mr. Holmes. Gentleman by the name of Peter Carey,
Sherlock
also known
Holmes
as
da bu.
Black Peter, has been murdered.
Tabii ki de şey o bilecek.
Probably.
What happened here?
Oh, Mr. Holmes, how could you?
It's the only exercise I've had all week. A grateful client from Limoges sent me a vase collection this morning. I couldn't think of a better use for it.
You're out of your mind.
I missed 4 out of 10.
Given you were blindfolded, that was very good. Can I have a try?
Am I the only sane one here?
I suppose that Watson is right,
Hey
Inspector.
Allah'ım ya.
A little brain work would be preferable now. Do please tell us more about Black Peter.
Peter Carey, born in 1845 and 50 years old. An ambitious sort, he achieved much success in seal and whale hunting around Scandinavia. Retired in 1884 with a small fortune. He invested his money in a property called Woodman's Lee, near Forest Row in Sussex. It was where he lived for 6 years, and where he was found dead yesterday.
Has the investigation already begun?
Yes and no. In fact, this crime is so mysterious that I would prefer you to join me down there.
Give me half an hour to prepare, Inspector.
Take your time and join me there. I have to go through the yard first. The merry men struck again.
What have they done this time?
They robbed a powder reserve. I'll meet you at Woodman's Lee, Mr. Holmes.
I should help Mrs. Hudson here. I also have several appointments that I must keep this afternoon.
I shall go alone then.
Evet. Tava basıyoruz. Şimdi ne yapmamız gerekiyor? Peter Carey'nin cinayeti araştırıyorum. Watson Lee'deki cinayet mahallesini inceliyorum. Kendi dolabına giyecek bir ceket seç ve yerle sırtı katıl. Tamam.
Oh, what a mess! What a...
Bu
My
neymiş?
archive. My archive.
Buradan da aksi sepeti. Burası benim odam herhalde. Şimdilik bu yeterli olur herhalde ya.
You go along to Peter Carey's house. Mrs. Hudson and I will take care of them.
Şimdi bir dakika. Tamam. Adamın tipi bu. Gidelim bakalım. Evet, çıkarımlarımızı da buradan yapıyoruz. Evet, şu anlık bir tane delili var. Belgeler burada, diyaloglar burada. Mesajlar, profiller. Şimdi. Evet.
Mr. Holmes, I'm over here. Come on.
Tamam, şimdi. Bir ayak izi.
These footprints appear to be quite large. It seems that the garden was well maintained.
Buraya bir nesne gerekli diyor.
Mr. Holmes? Mr. Holmes?
Tamam, burayla alakamız yok şu an.
Mr. Holmes?
Mr. Holmes demekten başka bir şey bilmiyor musunuz abi siz?
Inspector Lestrade,
Evet.
when will you remove my husband's body? It's sacrilegious to leave him here like this.
As soon as we can, Mrs. Carey, I assure you. Allow me to introduce you to Mr. Sherlock Holmes. He's a detective. No doubt you've heard of him. I'll wait for you in front of the cabin, Mr. Holmes.
My condolences, Mrs. Carey.
Thank you, Mr. Holmes.
Carey kadın ismi. İlk baş bunu
Do you
sormamız
remember
lazım.
at what time you found your husband's body?
In the morning, at around 7 o'clock, I noticed the cabin door was open, but I didn't go in to take a look, for I knew my husband would not have liked it. At around 10 o'clock, I dared to glance in through the door and... oh dear.
Madam, can you tell me if you saw or heard anything unusual upon the night of the murder?
At 2 o'clock in the morning, I heard a terrible scream. I thought nothing of it then. He would scream all the time when he was drunk.
Was your husband accustomed to receiving visitors?
No,
Bakalım.
no, I don't think so.
Kim
I mean, he didn't
var?
really have many friends. We lived quite an isolated life here, after his retirement.
Pek inandırıcı gelmedi ama.
Can you please tell me what occurred on the evening of the murder?
Well, Peter got drunk in the evening. He was in such a terrible temper. Usually whenever that happened, he'd stay all night drinking in his cabin before passing out.
The garden is very large and well maintained. Do you employ someone to look after it?
It is true, there is a lot of work, but my husband took care of it himself.
Şimdi kadını süzelim. Taş olduğunu ben de görüyorum. Katolik. Bahçıvan eldivenleri.
You have indeed suffered a great loss, Mrs. Carey. Nevertheless, I believe it will be less of a burden for you soon.
Yes. Life with Peter was never easy, but he was still my husband.
He was different, wasn't he, when you first met him upon your return from Plymouth?
Araştıralım da bakalım. Kadının hareketleri böyle şüpheli gibi ya, çok böyle.
You undertook a pilgrimage to the Cathedral of Santiago de Compostela when you were young. That much is evident from the rosary in your hand. The shortest route for the pilgrim from England to Spain is from Plymouth. I believe that you met Peter Carey as a young sailor there, and you married him soon afterwards.
That is indeed what happened, Mr. Holmes. How extraordinary.
Ne kadar ilginç, tabii bileceğim
Thank you,
ama.
madam.
Şimdi bunu araştırdık. Bu. İyi bakın, bahçe, ayak izleri. Zaten kadın.
It seems that the garden was well maintained.
Burayla ilgili bir şey yapamıyoruz. Tamam, burası zaten bir şey lazım buraya. Bakacağız.
Peter Carey's body is inside the cabin. We took care not to touch any.
The door is locked.
Kapı kilitli.
Wait just a moment, Mr. Holmes, and I'll open it. I locked it yesterday to ensure that no one should enter the cabin and tamper with the evidence.
Ah, good thinking.
Hello, hello, hello.
What is it, Lestrade?
It seems to me that someone has tried to force it, Mr. Holmes.
Let me see. These scratches are fresh.
Taze.
You're right. Someone tried to force open the door.
I swear these scratches were not here yesterday.
Our mysterious visitor came here last night.
Well,
Tahmin ettiğim gibi ya,
he's not
gece
the man for
dedim
the
ne
job.
olacak.
This lock
Ama
is
nasıl
not a
taze
difficult one.
oluyordum sabah ya.
Perhaps he did not have the right tool.
Şimdi burayı bir açalım. Aha, al işte.
What a terrible way to die. This place is not covered with dust, like the rest of the shelf. An object was taken from here. It was larger than a book. A box or a small chest, perhaps. Dundee.
Dundee.
Hammerfest. It's a whaling map.
Da bir harita. Bakalım.
Someone drank from this glass recently.
Yani normal.
The initials PC have been
PC.
crudely burned. A sailor's work. This aroma is familiar, but yes, this is a coarse tobacco, quite strong and very popular among sailors.
Yani bu ne saçma sapan bir bulmaca ya.
Rum, a sailor's drink.
Yani belli
It seemed
zaten
that
içki.
Captain Carey was enjoying a drink before he met his death.
Aynen. Belli zaten.
The weapon fully penetrated the body. The force of the blow was immense. JHN are probably the initials of the owner of this notebook.
Yani normal.
The pattern of the blood stain indicates that the notebook was not lying on the floor prior to the crime, but it was dropped into the pool of blood after the death of Peter Carey. These abbreviations mean something, but what?
Numara mı lan bunlar?
This blood is from the pool underneath the dead body. This wooden handle is plain and solid. Peter Carey tried to defend himself with this knife, but he did not succeed. This man is in his 50s, yet he still looks quite strong. Peter Carey was fully dressed. He was not caught by surprise. It is possible that he knew.
Allah Allah.
Peter Carey was impaled to the wall by a whaling harpoon.
Mıhlamış. Evet, şimdi bununla bu uyuşuyor.
Someone was here yesterday. They attempted to force the door to gain entry.
Evet. Şuraları da araştırdım mı?
Old navigation instruments. Peter carries boots. They look to be a size 8. The murder weapon was probably taken from this rack.
Yani.
The ship's logs of the Sea Unicorn for the years 1878 to 1884. Peter Carey was her captain.
Bunları aklımızda tutmamız lazım. Burayla ilgili bir şey yapacağız. Bir dakika abi, bir dakika, yanlış yere tıkladım.
The Sea Unicorn. She was the ship that Peter Carey commanded.
Tamam. Buralara, bir yerlere, her yere baktık. Son bir Leicester'la konuşalım.
What do you think?
I think that we are lucky.
And why is that?
Because of last night's attempted break-in.
You've lost me.
Anlatırsa
It is
şaşarım
very
zaten.
probable that whoever came here hoped to find the door open. They tried to force it with a knife blade, but they failed. What will they do? Why, return tonight, when they will be better prepared.
Aha! So what do you propose?
We shall remain on the outside, near the window, where we stand the best chance of catching sight of our visitor. Well, gentlemen, ready your pistols. We have a long night ahead of us.
Yani. Evet arkadaşlar. Bu birinci bölüm olsun. Bir sonraki Sherlock Holmes bölümüyle görüşmek üzere. Kendinize iyi bakın. Beğenmeyi, yorum yapmayı, abone olmayı unutmayın. Bir de like atarsanız sevinirim.